Hey my sweethearts, welcome back to my channel. I hope you and yours are doing great. My name is Kiki. If it's your first time being here on my channel, I love to talk about fragrances within my collection and also share some fragrance education. Now today's video is all about designer fragrances, and I love me some designer fragrances. It's dear to me because my very first foray into the world of fragrance wearing and owning actually started with designer fragrances. Now, when I say my first foray, that's separate from fragrances I had smelled growing up from my dad and my mom, because that's where my love of fragrances started. But the actual owning of my own bottles and starting a collection was with designer fragrances. If I remember, the very first bottle of fragrance that I ever owned was gifted to me, and that was Princess by Vera Wang. And I think the second bottle was J'adore by Dior. And I promise you, those two fragrances, whenever I smell them, evoke specific memories from my childhood, my teenage years that I just will never forget. Okay. Now, designer fragrances back in the days was such a big deal that it had an air of exclusivity. There was just something very classy about owning a bottle of like a Tom Ford or Dior, and it still is, right? There's still that level of pizzazz that comes with it. But it's just that back in the days, with the absence of social media, was such a big deal. The first designer credited with creating a fragrance is Paul Poiret, a French haute couture designer who was known for his very avant-garde, elaborate designs for women. He, however, loved mixing scents and oils together, and when his clientele found out about this, the demand surged, so much so that he had to start his standalone, fragrance house called Les Parfums de Rosine in 1911. The brand was focused in making handcrafted fragrances, and they were all stored in hand-painted bottles. The brand still exists till today. It's based out of Paris in France. So if you're ever in the very artsy, beautiful country of France, do make some time to check out this brand so you can learn more about their history. Now I have 10 amazing fragrances from phenomenal brands you've probably heard about. If you'd like to know what these are, why don't you get settled, get hydrated. Let's get into the video. So I had to start off this list with the incomparable, iconic, and classic fragrance, and I'm talking about Dior Addict by Dior, and this is the 2014 edition. Whenever women ask me to curate a list of fragrances that they should get in their collection, Dior Addict always is included in that list, because this fragrance right here embodies the different aspects and facets of a woman's mood and a woman's aura. Like if a woman wants to feel bold and confident, wear Dior Addict. This is where you want to feel very mysterious and very sly and almost sensual. Wear Dior Addict. Days when you want to feel very dainty with Dior Addict. The days of feeling very classy with Dior Addict. In fact, if you want to feel very ratchet, your wild, wild days with Dior Addict. There's just something about it that just covers the different feelings and moods of a woman, which is why I love it so much. Now, this 2014 edition especially is a love of mine because it mixes floral notes that are quite potent and juicy with bourbon vanilla. So you have like jasmine sambac, which is known to be a very intense but sweet floral note. Mix that with orange blossom and then mandarin leaf as well, and you have such a very addictive Dior Addict fragrance that is just divine. This is a fragrance that I don't think anyone can actually replicate or dupe, because I feel like it's a fragrance that has so much love poured into it. It's such a high quality fragrance. It is very, very potent. My fragrance, because this is a very old version of the 2014 formulation, it's very potent. Okay, I just need a couple sprays or a few sprays and I'm good for the day. And the sillage on this thing is just outstanding. Like, people will smell you, it comes off of you. I love it. have the best things to say. So yeah, for the very first designer fragrance that every woman should have in your collection, I would recommend Dior Addict by Dior, again, 2014 edition. Also from the house of Dior, we have Ombre Nuit, and this is such a beautiful blend of a fragrance. Ombre Nuit was launched in 2009 and has become a staple for so many people because it is such a very classy fragrance, okay? The notes in this juice work so well. You know, sometimes when you have multiple notes in a fragrance, they sort of compete with one another to shine, but the notes here are well blended. Yes, there are two standout notes here. Maybe the ambergris, giving it a slightly salty touch, and then you have the damask rose, which is one of the best roses ever. But beyond that, all the other notes here just work together to give you such a very sophisticated like fragrance. That's the term. When you wear this, there's an air of sophistication that just comes off of you. Okay, it's like you smell very wealthy, you smell very rich without doing too much. It's like that quiet luxury. You don't have to wear like a price tag or logo on yourself for people to know you're rich. That's how Umbrella Nuit smells. Like you're not announcing to the world that you're here, but people know that you're here, you know? That's the beauty of this fragrance. It is a beloved fragrance, especially for those who really love it. Um, it's not doing too much. You can wear this to the office. You can wear this for business meetings. You can wear this when you want to go see your mother-in-law. You definitely create a great impression when you wear this fragrance. Next is a fragrance that is just incredibly underrated, and I feel should be in the top 5 sexiest fragrances ever created. And I'm talking about Vanille Fatal by Tom Ford. This right here has to have danger signs written all over it because once you wear this, you're probably going to regret your actions the very next day. But this right here is such a very peculiar smelling fragrance. Like the accord is not wildly smelled in the market. It's not a very oversaturated or even saturated accord because a lot of people focus on vanilla and tobacco, vanilla and other core notes, but the merger of the incense and the boozy notes here with the vanilla just makes this a very different take on how vanilla should be, like dirty vanilla. This is the epitome of dirty vanilla. This is sexiness in a bottle. This is mystique in a bottle. This is provocation in a bottle. You know what? If you've seen this movie, Original Sin, that had Angelina Jolie and Antonio Banderas, I feel that this is the fragrance that Angelina Jolie wore throughout the movie, okay, in her character. If you haven't seen that movie, check it out. If you have, then you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Vanille Fatal was launched in 2017. Again, I feel that this is such an underrated gem. Every woman needs this fragrance in their collection. I recently featured this in my list of intoxicating vanilla fragrances. Please check that out because I went in depth into the notes and some other aspects of what this fragrance is about, okay? So I won't say much anymore, but know that this right here is sexiness in a bottle, and every woman should have this in her collection. Next, we have Contre by Louis Vuitton. Y'all, I have a hard time pronouncing Louis Vuitton. Please do not laugh at me or mock me, okay? Thank you very much. Contre was launched in 2016, and I love this fragrance so much because it's so unique the way it smells. I haven't smelled anything that is similar to this in any way. It is a vanilla fragrance that now I would say has the green notes to it, like something slightly bitter in here. Herbal notes as well are very prominent in this fragrance, and you have some floral aspects as well as some pretty notes like pear as well in Contre. There's a presence of magnolia, and magnolia has like a very waxy, almost plasticky type of smell, especially when used in fragrances, and that's pretty prominent in Contre. Now, the way I describe this, it might seem quite off-putting to you, but trust me, the combination of those notes gives you just a very enjoyable scent, especially in summertime. This is a star during the heat. You would just feel very refreshed. At the same time, it just works well with the weather, making it beautiful when it smelled. The only thing is that it's not a beast mode fragrance, as is with a lot of the Louis Vuitton fragrances anyway. But once you spray this, especially on your clothes, it creates a beautiful bubble around you that when people smell it, they love it and they want to come close to you. A trick for me, what I do with this fragrance is I love to mix this with Ani by Nishane. And I don't know how I stumbled upon that layering combination. I think one day it was a very, very hot summer day and I just wanted something to refresh me. And so I started off with Contre and then I added Nishane and brought this back up. And I promise you, wherever I went to, I got compliments. That's how good that combination is. So that's how I sort of brighten up this fragrance, bringing in the aspect of Nishane's Annie with this one. A beautiful combination together. Even on its own too, you also get compliments. It's a bit soft, but enjoyable during summertime. I think you should definitely check it out if you can get your hands on it or at least get a sample. It's just very different. It smells very opulent as well. It's another description of quiet luxury in a bottle. I love how it is. I love the way it performs. And I'm so sad again that it's discontinued. 2016 creation. I love the way it smells. I love the way it performs. Louis Vuitton did their thing with Contre. This next fragrance is such an exceptional one from the house of Dolce&Gabbana. I'm referring to the only one intense, and it's truly the only one that I love from the house. Seriously, you guys, look at this bottle. It is sleek. It is very minimalistic, easy to hold, perfectly designed. It's not doing too much, but it's still making a statement. I love this bottle so much. Oh my gosh, they did their thing with this one. That being said, the only one intense is when vanilla meets with the juiciest coconut and neroli. Neroli is within the family of orange blossom, so it's more or less like orange blossom in the way it performs and the way it smells. This is just well done. I haven't met one person who doesn't like Dolce and Gabbana's the only one intense perfume, especially when worn by women. Men love this fragrance, and women love this on other women. You get compliments all the time when you wear the only one intense because it's just so beautifully blended. In terms of the way it performs, this right here is beastly. Like you spray and people, like it can fill up a room. People can smell it off of you. It is quite strong and long lasting. Again, you're going to get a lot of compliments, but it's beautifully blended. This is to me the best coconut fragrance in the market. I cannot think of any other fragrance that has coconuts that can match the power, the beauty, the style, the smell of the only one intense. It's just juicy. It's giving juicy. Hey. And from the house of Armani, from their Prive collection, we have Ambre Eccentrico, a 2015 launch that I am completely besotted with. This right here is for those who love amber and their fragrances, but want some extra sweetness, like thick, dense sweetness. That's what you're getting from Amber Eccentrico. This is a great mix of amber and dried fruits with some tonka beans. My gosh, this is dense. This is thick. This is rich. This is a delicious bowl of fruits, of like amber mixed with like something like ice cream in the way the sweetness just pours through this fragrance. This is absolutely delicious. I open it up and at the top, I'm getting the sweetness. In fact, the way this fragrance is sweet, like the way the dried fruit performs, it reminds me of dates. And if you're familiar with how dates are in fragrances, it comes on very thick and very syrupy and heavy on the sweetness. That's what I'm getting from Ambre Eccentrico. This is such a delicious fragrance, like very decadent, like mouth watering is how this fragrance smells, to my nose. I am obsessed with it. Now, When I got this last year, this fragrance recently surprised me. When I got this last year, it was kind of faint when I wore it. It was in a colder month. I expected it to do much. So I just put it aside. So tell me why recently, not up to a month ago, I wore this to church, just a few sprays. I wanted to be respectful of people, but I kept getting compliments. I got compliments from multiple people. Literally, I had to write the name for a guy when he kept on asking what I was wearing. It was really that good in terms of compliments. Even when I went for a stroll, a number of people also complimented me because it was just projecting off of me. Okay, and that was like a warm day, like maybe in the 60s or like 60s. That's how the weather was. So I wonder why, but this really shone through. Like it shone through for me recently. Okay, it is just a perfect blend. If you love your amber, if you love your sweet notes, and you want the merger, just like if you enjoy Grand Soir, but you want it to be sweeter and richer, then Ambre Eccentrico should definitely feed that urge or craving for sweetness. It is also like slightly creamy. Like I said, something like ice cream is how this fragrance feels, especially in the dry down. Oh, I love this. And moving from the Armani Prive line, we're going into Emporio Armani, and I'm going to feature this one that is surprising, okay? This is Stronger With You Intensely. And yes, I had to bring this on here. Yes, it's targeted towards men, but ladies, please don't believe that lie. Women have to wear this fragrance because it is absolutely outstanding. This will have you smelling like caramel cookies. If you love the smell of toffee, caramel, vanilla, tonka bean, you want to have some extra like sweetness in your fragrance, like not even extra, a lot of sweetness in your fragrance, please get your hands on Stronger With You Intensely. Do not believe that lie that this is for men. Women wear this fragrance. I am a woman. I love this fragrance, and I've always gotten compliments when I wore this. I remember one time I wore this to the dentist shop, and they gave me compliments at the dentist. Okay. I've walked past some men and they complimented me. I've walked into a room of like different people and I got compliments. This is amazing. I am pleading with you, women, do not sleep on this. There are a lot of masculine targeted fragrances that women have to get their noses on and women need to try. And Stronger With You Intensely is one of those. This is a 2019 launch. I heard that there was news of it being discontinued. I don't know how true that is, but definitely check it out. If you don't believe me, go to the Fragrantico reviews and just try to type in the word woman or female or feminine, and you will see what people have written about this fragrance. And I mean, women have written about this fragrance. It is really, really good. It is dense. It is also rich as well and very potent. Spray this on your clothes. You're going to have it on your clothes smelling still for like a good 2-3 days. It is powerful and it's very affordable as well. I own this, that's the intensely as well as the absolutely. I honestly can't tell you which I love better between both of them. I just love each of the two bottles, and I'm thinking of getting the oud as well because that one has like extra doses of oud and leather, which I love in my fragrances. But ladies, do not sleep on this. This Stronger With You Intensely by Imperial Armani, targeted towards men, but can absolutely be worn by women. It is delicious. Next, we have the house of Jean-Paul Gaultier, and I have two fragrances to feature. First is Classique Essence. This is a 2016 launch, and my gosh, this fragrance right here did a number on me. Okay, so this was discontinued for a long period of time. I don't know if you are aware, there was a time no one could get their hands on it. It's a beautiful orange blossom fragrance. I'm obsessed with orange blossom fragrances. So I was looking all over, all over for this fragrance. Now, I remember I was in Nigeria visiting around that time and I got a prompt or notification that they had like one or two available. The website I was trying to chase it on. I was up at like 2 a.m. Nigerian time trying to like get across to them, make sure my payment could go through. I started tracking it down to ensure that it was delivered and nothing happened, because I didn't want to hear any stories that the final two pieces that could ever be accessed was missing somehow, somewhere. But it was worth the struggle, because this is a juicy, fluffy, powerful masterpiece of a fragrance. If you like the idea of orange blossom in your fragrance, now imagine that with the thickness and fluffiness of whipped cream. You also have your vanilla, you have your benzoin. This is sweet. You also have the cream, warmth, coziness of cashmere. Whew. All of those notes together mixed with orange blossom gives you the delicious, beautiful, very enjoyable, likable, lovable juice that is classic essence. And the second fragrance by Jean Paul Gaultier is La Belle, a beautiful take on Pierre in a fragrance. Now, this was launched in 2019, and it's so well crafted, because this is like condensed vanilla mixed with caramelized pear that has been soaked for days in sugar, and just giving it a rich thickness that is divine, absolutely mouth-watering. Mix those notes of sweetness of pear with the juiciness of vanilla. Then you bring in vetiver. Vetiver is known to be very dry, very earthy, slightly smoky, but that balances out the sweetness coming from the pear that could have been cloying. And then that sweetness as well also manages the bitterness that vetiver could have brought into this fragrance. And what that means is that both notes balance each other out, making this fragrance, that is La Belle, such a mesmerizing, enjoyable fragrance, especially when smelled in the air. Like the first time I smelled this fragrance in the air, I had to have it. I went into the store, I think it was Macy's. I didn't go in to buy this fragrance, but smelling this in the air, I just wanted to have whatever that was. So that's how good it is. There's some fragrances that don't smell really good in the air. They smell nice on clothes, but they don't do so well in the air. La Belle is one of the fragrances that works wonders when you smell it in the air. Okay, it's a beautiful craft designed by the master perfumer Quentin Bish. And I think Quentin Bish does a fantastic job with pear. I mean, he used pear in the amazing fragrance Guidance by Amouage, and also the pear here was just done to perfection. Not a lot of people are great with incorporating that note in fragrances, but Quentin Bish is just fantastic with his work, and La Belle is not an exception. I think women should get their noses on this. And finally, the queen of them all, I'm referring to Atlas Garden by YSL. This is the 2019 launch from their Le Vestiaire de Parfum collection. This is a beautiful, outstanding creation by YSL. Now, when I initially got this, I thought, this is like every other orange blossom fragrance. And I love my orange blossom fragrance, like I mentioned so many times in this video. So I was like, the more the merrier. However, I was wrong. This fragrance kicks it up a notch with the introduction of the dates and the tonka bean. I love the dates in fragrances. I love tonka bean in fragrances. And those notes just makes this absolutely like breathtaking. Okay. And then there's the ambroxan here. Ambroxan here amplifies the potency of what the other notes bring in. Orange blossom is already a potent floral fragrance, and then you bring it in dates, which is known to be rich and thick and very syrup-like. That's just ambroxan just finishes the work that has already been started. This is so good. This fragrance has like it's a floral gourmand, okay? You have the floral notes, which is cannot be replicated or taken away rather. And then you have the biscuits presence. And this is such a gourmand fragrance. If you love dates, if you love tonka beans, you'll be so happy with this, because the merger of those two notes give you that creaminess that is not like any other orange blossom on a really heavy fragrance. It is really, really good. Sometimes I go in to my shelf or my wardrobe, my fragrance wardrobe, and just open the bottle and start just sniffing it this way because I'm just like, oh, this smells so good. It really smells good. And this is a room filler. I thought it was a joke when people were telling me, oh, this is potent. I'm like, yeah, it is what it is. Spray this and it just occupies everywhere that you're in. It is powerful, but it's good because it smells really, really nice. Floral gourmand is hard to create. This is one that was done to perfection. Definitely get your nose on it. It's in a class of its own. Some people are saying it might be getting discontinued because there are just a few more bottles left on the YSL website, especially the one in the US. So if you can get your hands on, definitely do. This is a year-round fragrance, not limited to springtime. I promise you that gourmand factor amplifies the beauty of Atlas Garden. And there you have it, some fantastic designer fragrances that I own, I enjoy, and you should definitely have in your collection. Are there some fragrances from your collection that I should know about? Please let me know in the comment section. Thank you all so much for being here with me. Yes, I cut up my hair. It's a rebirth, and I'm so happy that I can show my face to you all. If you're yet to do so, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. It will mean so much to me. I have an amazing video lined up for you next week, and I can't wait to see you then. All right? So my love to everyone around you. Take care of yourself. You are beautiful. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? You are a star, baby. Own the room.